So the tanks that you see behind you in the shot are approximately 100 years old. Originally they were brought down the river from a Charrington site in London, and they were put onto a paper mill site effectively to hold fuel oil for the powering of steam boilers, etc. So they're very old. They're 18 metres high, 18 metres in diameter, and they hold somewhere in a region of about 7,000 tonnes. The problem we had was obviously through their age and their position within a concrete bund. We do have an ingress of water, obviously rainwater, and through our scheduled inspection we'd noticed that there was some corrosion had started to occur through the ultrasound process that we use to measure the thickness. So at that point we had to make a decision, calculating corrosion rates using standard engineering theory. We estimated probably that we only had about 2 years left before we were going to see some significant problems. We'd also started to see some seepage as well around the edges, so we decided that we had to either replace or repair the tanks, which was a major project.
The first thing was empty the tank out, and it was there's no drain plug on it, so we had to manufacture pipe work to actually suck the remaining that we couldn't get out in the tank.
So when we want to get into that tank to actually clean it out, there are significant risk of explosion if you start to use hot works or flame cutting.
So it was decided that we would use this water jet in cutting system to cut out a larger hole so we can have a full flow of air, and it was monitored and measured to make sure we had the proper monitoring system in place.
The actual tanks themselves, because the bases were rotten, we'd planned to actually take the base out, repair it, and go at least 1.2 metres up the sides of the tanks. That's where the corrosion was at worst, around the annular ring that supported the tank. So the plan was to actually support the tank in its entirety off of the ground, and we calculated the actual feet and the distances required to support that tank. So we knew what the actual stand required was to support the whole tank off the ground while we removed the base in the first instance. In total, if you was to put everything together, it's probably one of the highest risks that we could actually, or an activity that encountered the highest risk that we possibly could, and it had never been done before. These sorts of jobs don't get done on a regular basis.
A lot of sleepless nights, because you've got to try and think what's going to happen before it happens.
I think the most important thing is when you undertake a project of that scale and that level of risk, is have the accident investigation before the accidents occurred. So actually identifying the risks is vitally important.